Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars. Attention all Los Angeles County Sheriff's cars, broadcast 113 regarding a murder. A body found in Mint Canyon, face mutilated with a shotgun. That's all. Rosenquist.
Here is proof that police and emergency cars prefer Rio Grande cracked gasoline above all other brands. Recently published figures show that for the year 1935, 4.5 million gallons of Rio Grande cracked gasoline were used in thousands of police cars, fire engines, police motorcycles, and emergency cars operated by cities, counties, and other governmental units. To protect your lives and your property, all these divisions of your government have selected Rio Grande cracked gasoline because it gives the most outstanding emergency performance. They choose Rio Grande cracked in preference to any other brand of gasoline available in this market because their accurate records prove conclusively that it operates cars more efficiently and more economically. Several 100,000 motorists must agree with their government in the selection of an ideal gasoline. For the sale of Rio Grande cracked is 140% ahead of last year, making Rio Grande by far the fastest growing oil company in the West. And now it is our great pleasure to present once more Sheriff Gene Biscaluse of Los Angeles County. Sheriff Biscaluse.
Thank you. Good evening, friends. You hear a great deal from time to time of sentimental objections to capital punishment. People with more milk of human kindness in their souls and hard factual experience in their background maintain that man has not the legal right to take a life in the name of society, that the criminal should be corrected, not executed. I ask you to listen carefully to tonight's dramatization and ask yourself whether the criminal about whom you are to hear should have been dealt with differently. Personally, I believe that the only way to deal with avaricious, cold-blooded killers is to make an example of them. It is sad but true that the strongest crime deterrent is the fear of consequences. It has been my experience that so many people are not good so often because it is the right thing to do, as they are good because they are afraid they will be punished if they are bad. If a guilty plotter is wise, he will change his mind, for I can assure him he will not get away with it any more than John Vittori did.
I am Jose Diego. I was paroled from the Arizona State Prison at Florence on May 12, 1933. They sent me there for burglary. Maybe I was guilty, but what is a man to do when he's hungry and when there is no work? They drove a bunch of us over to Phoenix the day they let us out. I went from there to the coast. I am Luis Blanco. I was having a hard time in Los Angeles. The county gave me food and they gave me work now and then, but I didn't ever have enough to eat. My wife was in the insane asylum in Patton. I didn't know many people in Los Angeles except our relatives, so I left for Arizona on April 10th. My sister lives in Globe, and I hoped maybe I could get a job there. At least I could eat.
I'm John Vittori. Louis Blanco's my brother-in-law. That is, his wife and my wife are sisters. He disappeared a month ago. Last thing he told me, he was going to San Francisco to look for work. Now his wife is well enough to get out of Patton, and he's got to sign the papers. We can't find him anywhere. So I reported him to the police as a missing person. I hope they find him. Certainly I ain't going to sign for his wife's release. I've got too many mouths to feed now with my own wife and the kids.
Such are the three chief protagonists in this drama of greed and violence. The prologue has spoken. The action has already begun in a lonely canyon in the foothills of the Tehachapies. And now the curtains part on the first scene in the office of Captain William Bright, head of the Homicide Squad, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office, as the telephone rings.
Homicide, Bright speaking.
Stewart at Newhall Substation, Captain.
Yes, Stewart.
Just received a report of a murder up in Mint Canyon.
Oh, you sure it's murder?
Yes, the man who phoned in said the body was found on his ranch. Been shot twice.
All right. You go on out there, and I'll get a couple of men and follow you right away.
Yes, sir.
While Stewart and Deputy Sheriffs Brewster and Dickerson are making a cursory investigation of the scene of the crime, Captain Bright, accompanied by Deputies Morrell, Sepulveda, and Morford, speed through San Fernando Valley on their way to Newhall. Stewart greets them on their arrival.
Well, Stewart, what is it?
Pretty gruesome mess. Just this way, Captain, through these bushes.
Shot in the face, huh?
Yes, apparently to prevent identification. There were 2 shots, both from a 12-gauge shotgun. We found the shells. One shot killed him, and the second was fired while the victim was lying on the ground. It fired close, as you can tell by the powder burns on the clothing. And it was the second shot which obliterated the features.
Yes. Yes, you're right on the reconstruction. Apparently the victim was a Mexican. Any marks on the clothes?
No, sir.
Any identification?
Yes, that's the strange part of it. Although the murderer apparently wanted to make recognition impossible, he overlooked this slip of paper which we found in the victim's shirt pocket.
Oh. My name is Louis Blanco, 1720 Yell Street, Los Angeles. In case of accident or serious illness, notify John Vittori, 602 Stella Avenue, Los Angeles. Find anything else on him?
Well, we haven't searched him thoroughly. I didn't want to move the body until you arrived.
You got photographs of it by now, haven't you?
Yes.
Well, then, let's see if he has anything else on him. I'm not satisfied with this identification.
Yes, sir. Brewster, examine the body and see what else you can find on him.
Yes. Who found the body?
This young fellow here, hired man on the ranch.
Oh? You found the body?
Yes, sir. I was out hunting, and I stepped right on the body. Gee, like to scare the daylights out of me.
When was this?
This morning. I told the boss about it right away, and he called you fellas.
Looks like he's been dead 24 hours. Hear any shots yesterday?
Why, now, come to think of it, believe I did. I was out looking for a stray cow, and I heard a couple of shots.
What time was this?
About 11 o'clock yesterday morning. I didn't pay no attention to the shots because I figured somebody else was out hunting.
Did you see anyone around here?
Well, no, but about 15 minutes later, I was walking along a back road on the way back to the ranch. I didn't find the cow, you see, and a fellow passed me in a car going west.
That'd be toward Los Angeles?
Yes, sir.
What kind of a car was it?
It was an Ethic sedan.
Did you notice the license number?
No, I didn't.
What color was it?
It was a blue, only kind of faded, and it had a black top.
Here's some more papers I found on the body, Captain. These were in his hip pocket.
Thanks. Let's see. Well, according to these papers, this man is Jose Diego, released from the Arizona State Penitentiary at Florence on May 12th. Today's the 24th. Well, if this body is Diego, he enjoyed just 12 days of freedom.
And if it's Luis Blanco, how did he get possession of Jose Diego's parole papers?
Well, it seems that the answer to that lies in this John Vittori. Morrell, I want you to go to 602 Stella Avenue and bring in John Vittori. By the time you get him, the body will be in the morgue. Take him there for an identification, then bring him to my office.
Yes, sir.
Sepulveda.
Yes, sir.
I want you to follow through on fingerprinting this body. Send the classification to the Arizona Penitentiary at Florence for a check against the prints of Jose Diego. Come on now, step on it, boys. We've got one corpse with 2 identities. I don't like mysteries when they're that mysterious.
While Sepulveda fingerprints the corpse, Morrell picks up John Vittori at the Stella Street address. At the morgue, Vittori identifies the body as his brother-in-law, Louis Blanco. Then Vittori leads the officer to Blanco's rooming house on Yale Street. The Mexican landlady greets them at the door.
Ah, buenos dias, Senor Vittori. Have you heard from that brother-in-law of yours who owes me so much back rent?
Yes, Mrs. Gonzalez. I've heard of him. He's been murdered.
Murdered?
This man is from the sheriff's office. He wants to go through Louis' room.
Bueno. But who is going to pay his back rent? Are you, Senor Vittori?
You know I ain't got no money.
Mrs. Gonzalez, do you know whether Blanco had a gun?
A gun? Oh, no, he didn't have no gun.
Did he have an automobile?
An automobile? Where would he get the money for an automobile when he owed me 3 months' rent?
Are his things still in his room?
Oh, see, such as they are. He didn't have very much.
I'd like to take a look in there.
It was just down the hall here. He said when he went away that he was going to get a job in San Francisco. And now he comes back murdered.
Yeah, that's what he told me, too. That he was going to Frisco to get a job.
Here's his room.
Well, it's pretty bare. No clothes.
Oh, no, he didn't have no clothes, only what he wore.
Some old magazines.
There are some letters in the drawer there.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for. A letter from Mrs. Rosita Tapoca, Globe, Arizona. You know who this is, Mr. Vittori?
I think he had a sister in Globe.
That's fine. Well, come along.
Where do we go now?
Down to headquarters. The captain must ask you some questions.
What is your name?
John Vittori,
Where do you live?
602 Stella Avenue.
Do you know Louis Blanco?
Yeah, he's my brother-in-law.
Is the body you saw at the morgue that of Louis Blanco?
Yeah, I think so, but it's hard to tell.
When did you see Blanco last?
About 6 weeks ago. Told me he was going to San Francisco to look for work. We've been looking for him. His wife, my wife's sister, has been in the insane asylum in Patton, and she's ready to come out. But Louis has to sign the papers to get her out. I asked the police to look for him.
Yes, we have the missing persons report right here.
Oh, you know all about that already, huh?
Sure. We're pretty thorough in this office. Now, what kind of a car do you drive?
I drive an Essex and a Star, both.
Own an Essex, huh?
Yes, sir.
What year?
1927.
What color is it?
Kind of dark blue.
How's the paint job? Faded out?
No, sir. First class.
Ever have it repainted?
No, sir.
You ever own a shotgun?
No, sir.
Do you know Jose Diego?
No, sir. Not that I know of.
Well, did you ever see this identification card before?
Only when the officer showed it to me up at my house.
Never saw it before, huh?
No.
Has your name on it?
Yes?
Well, why should Blanco say to notify you in case of accident?
I don't know. He didn't get along with the rest of his family, I guess. I was the only one who was friendly with him.
Where were you yesterday?
I was home all day, except when I drove my kid to school.
Well, do you know anybody who would want to murder Blanco? Did he have any enemies?
No, sir.
Well, we may want to question you again, Mr. Vittori. You won't leave town?
Oh, no. I'll be right up there on Stella Avenue.
Fine. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yes, sir. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, Morrell?
Well, the story seems straight enough. Of course, we haven't checked up on it.
And we will.
Well, Captain, I've got the reply from the warden at Florence, Arizona.
Yeah?
Our victim is Jose Diego. Fingerprints on the body check identically with his card at the prison.
Well, that changes everything. Now we've got to find Louis Blanco.
And I've got a lead on that. I found this letter in his room. It's from a sister of his in Globe, Arizona.
Fine. Get on that angle right away.
Sheriff Charles R. Byrne, Globe, Arizona. We are attempting to locate Louis Blanco, Mexican, whose name was found on a murdered Mexican we have identified as Jose Diego. We believe Blanco has a sister, Rosita Tapoca, living in Globe. It is imperative to the investigation of this murder that we find Blanco. Would appreciate your making confidential investigation to discover if Blanco is now in Globe. W. Biscalou, Sheriff, Los Angeles County.
Sheriff E.W. Viscaluz, Los Angeles, California. Louis Blanco arrived here from Los Angeles April 10th. Now staying with sister. Charles R. Byrne, Sheriff, Globe, Arizona.
Sheriff Charles R. Byrne, Globe, Arizona. Please question Blanco and search for 12-gauge shotgun and blue automobile with black top. Possible victim brought from there by car. E.W. Biscalou, Sheriff, Los Angeles County.
Sheriff E.W. Viscaluz, Los Angeles. Unable to check or find either automobile or shotgun. Holding Blanco in custody. Refuses to waive extradition. Awaiting instructions. Charles R. Byrne, Sheriff, Globe, Arizona.
Sheriff Charles R. Byrne, Globe, Arizona. Deputy Sheriffs Sepulveda and Morrell arrive Globe tomorrow to question Blanco. Many thanks for your cooperation.
E.W. Biscalou, Sheriff, Los Angeles County. Well, Blanco, we're glad to see you.
What is this about? Why have they arrested me?
No, nothing serious, Blanco. We just want to ask you some questions.
Well, all right. I have done nothing. I'm not afraid to answer your questions.
That's fine. Now, do you know Jose Diego?
Jose Diego? No, I do not know him.
You never knew anybody by the name of Jose Diego, huh?
Well, I used to play with Manuel Diego when I was a kid. He has a grocery store here in Globe now.
He hasn't any relatives by the name of Jose, has he?
No, he hasn't.
When did you get to Globe, Louis?
I hopped a flight from Los Angeles. Got here the 12th of April.
Been away from here since?
I drove down to Superior with my father one day.
What day?
A couple of weeks ago. I don't remember the day.
Were you here in Globe on the 23rd of May?
Yes, sir.
You sure of that?
Positive. I only been away once, and that was the time I went to Superior.
Do you know John Vittori?
Sure, he's my brother-in-law.
When did you see him last?
Just before I left California.
Does he drive an automobile?
Yes.
Have you ever ridden in it? Can you describe it?
Sure, it's an Essex sedan.
What color?
Blue.
Does Vittori own a shotgun?
I don't know.
Has he ever been in any trouble?
Say, why should I tell you this? What are you trying to get on John?
Well, Blanco, it's this way. We found the body of a Mexican in a canyon near Newhall. He'd been shot twice, and on his body was an identification card with your name on it, saying that we should report death or illness to John Vittori.
A dead Mexican with my name on it?
Yes.
Oh, so that is it. And he gets me to take out an insurance policy. He says he can't get a good job with one insurance company if he sells 10 or 12 policies. I told to him I ain't got no money. So he says he'll pay if I sign for the policy. Then after the first month, I can drop it. So I signed.
Well, this begins to look a little clearer, Morel.
Yeah. Who did you name as beneficiary, Blanco?
My wife. She's a pattern. She was to get $1,000 if I died. So this Diablo brother-in-law planned to kill me, huh? Then he collect the insurance.
Yeah, it looks that way. Then you go away and he can't find you, so he runs into a Mexican who looks like you and he kills him to collect your insurance.
The pig is no good, that one. But how could he collect the insurance if I made it out to my wife?
We'll have to find out about that.
Well, how about it, Blanco? Will you waive extradition and come back with us to help us clear up this case?
Sure I will. Sure I'll go back with you. I ain't done nothing. I am innocent. But if that's what John was going to do to me, I'll do plenty to him. I'll fix him.
Back to Los Angeles go the officers with Louis Blanco. And next day, while the intended victim waits outside, Captain Bright once more questions John Vittori.
Vittori, did you ever work for an insurance company?
No.
I don't think I need to advise you to tell the truth. We're going to get to the bottom of this thing, and it will all come out in the end.
Yes, sir, I'm telling the truth.
All right, then, answer this question truthfully. Did you ever take out life insurance policy on Louis Blanco?
No, sir, I never did.
Here's the identification card we found on the body up at Newhall. Did you write it?
No, sir. Why should I write it? No, he probably wrote it.
This looks like his handwriting?
Yes?
And that body you saw in the morgue, you're satisfied that is your brother-in-law, Louis Blanco?
Sure. That's him as far as I can tell. Sure looked like his hands and looked like his clothes, too.
Mm-hmm. Then you'd say it was him.
Sure.
Bring in your man, Morel.
Yes, sir. Come on in.
Do you know this fellow, Vittori?
Louis. Oh, hello, Louis. Gee, I'm glad to see you. I thought you was dead.
I am not dead, but I was pretty scared.
What were you scared about?
Somebody tried to get me, and they got the wrong guy. They put my name in his pocket.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what the officers and me is trying to find out about.
Did you write this identification card, Blanco?
No, I never saw it before.
Well, who do you think wrote it, knowing you were Vittori's brother-in-law?
Nobody knows it except in John's family. Nobody knows it in my family.
Oh, just in John's family.
That's right.
Did Vittori ever talk to you about an insurance policy?
Yes. He come to me one day and asked me to take out a policy so he could get a job with the insurance company. He said he'd pay for it, so I said, okay, if it would help him.
That ain't so.
Well, did you ever get the policy?
No.
And who was the beneficiary?
My wife.
How much was the policy for?
He said $1,000.
That ain't so.
Well, do you think this boy's lying, Vittori?
He's lying 100%.
Oh. What do you say to that, Blanco?
John, they got to find out sooner or later.
Sure, the law finds out, and it finds out the truth.
You know you made me sign that insurance application.
You're lying, Louis.
Listen, Vittori. Your blue Essex was seen up there when we found that body.
Not mine.
Why, the man who saw the car drive down the road has identified it. Identified it by the color, the top, and the sticker you've got on the windshield.
Not mine. I could swear and tear my heart out.
Well, whose blue Essex was it then?
Oh, I don't know anything about it. There are lots of blue Essexes.
Mm-hmm. And this identification card, what do you know about that?
I never saw it before the day this officer came up to the house.
Here's a piece of paper and pencil, Vittori. Now, write down what I tell you.
All right.
Louis Blanco. 1720 Yale Street.
1720 Yale Street.
Los Angeles. You got that?
Yeah.
Then write John Vittori.
Vittori.
602 Stella Avenue.
602 Stella Avenue.
That's it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Now write 1720 Yale Street a couple of times.
17 Yale Street. 1720 Yale Street.
How far did you go in school, Vittori?
6th grade.
Never learned to spell Los Angeles, did you?
That's right, the way I got it.
Look at it again.
Sure it's right.
Well, here. Take a look at this morning paper. See the way they spell it. There's no I in it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Now, how about Yale Street? Did you spell it right there?
Sure.
What's the matter, Vittori? What are you sweating for?
It's hot in here.
Yeah, isn't it?
How do you spell Yale, Vittori?
Y-E-L-L.
You sure of that?
Sure I am.
I'm going to place you under arrest, Vittori, on suspicion of murder.
No, I ain't guilty of anything.
Maybe not. But this identification card we found on the body spelled Yale the same way you do, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Book this man on suspicion of murder.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute, Sergeant. Blanco, I'll have to book you, too, as a material witness. Although I want you to know that as far as we're concerned, we don't hold any suspicion against you. Be a matter of detention in jail for a few days.
Well, that's okay, Captain. I ain't got no place to stay anyway. I owe too much rent over by my place to go back there.
Okay. Take him upstairs, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and for your information, Vittori, you spelled Yale, Y-A-L-E. Now, Morrell,
Yes, sir.
I want you to check all the insurance companies for a policy on Louis Blanco. I have an idea that policy will be the key to this case.
Yes, sir.
For several days, Morrell devotes his time to the painstaking task of checking the files of the Los Angeles insurance companies, and at last discovers the company which holds the policy on Blanco's life. The agent who handled the policy is contacted and brought in to Captain Bright for questioning.
You, an insurance salesman, Mr. Walters?
Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. You know Mr. John Vittori?
Yes.
Well, how'd you happen to meet him?
Well, I contacted him first on a cold canvas.
What's that?
Well, that's what we call it when we get a prospect's name out of the phone book and approach him with no other lead than just his name and address.
I see. And did you sell Mr. Vittori insurance on that call?
No, not on that call, but a few months later I went to see him again, and that time he made out an application for a policy, but it was turned down.
Why?
Ill health.
And was that the last you saw of him?
Well, no. I gave him 2 or 3 application blanks and suggested that some other members of his family or his friends might want to be insured.
Mm-hmm.
So a few days later, he came back with this application of Luis Blanco. I'd told him to be sure the name was clearly printed, and Blanco not only had printed his name at the top of the application, but also at the signature. So the company rejected it, and I gave it back to Vittori and told him to have it signed. A few days later, he returned the application signed.
And who was the beneficiary?
Well, the beneficiary was himself, John Vittori.
But Blanco told us he had made his wife the beneficiary.
Yes, but as I remember, Vittori explained he'd changed his mind because he didn't think his wife could collect the insurance as she was in the hospital at Patton.
I asked you to bring along the papers pertaining to this policy. Have you the application there?
Yes, it's here in my briefcase. Just a minute. Here it is. You see, signed Luis Blanco.
Uh-huh. Morrell, have you got those record cards on Blanco and Vittori?
Oh, yeah. Here they are, sir.
Yes. Yes, this is signed Louis Blanco. But you don't have to be an expert to see that the handwriting is not the same on this application and on Blanco's record card here.
Why, that's right, it isn't.
And the date on this application is April 15th. When did Blanco say he left Los Angeles, Morel?
April 10th. We've definitely placed him in Globe, Arizona on the 12th.
I'd say this signature on the application is mighty close to Vittori's handwriting, wouldn't you, Morel?
Yes, sir.
How much was this policy for?
Why, there were 2 units for $1,500 apiece.
So that's the price of the murder, huh? $3,000. Well, Mr. Walters, I think you've given us the evidence we need here to complete our case against John Vittori.
Well, I'm glad to be of assistance. We're just as eager to uncover this sort of malpractice as you are. Oh, there's one more thing.
What's that?
Vittori took out another policy which named himself beneficiary.
He did? On who?
Just a minute. I have it here. Yes, here it is. On Mike Rufo, aged 14, his nephew.
Oh, Mike Rufo, huh? That's Blanco's stepson. His wife's boy by a former marriage.
Well, it looks as though Mr. Vittori planned to make a lot of dough on his family. However, I doubt if we can use that as evidence against him. It would be hard to establish intent even though Vittori had his nephew in line for the next killing.
In a few short days, the case of John Vittori is ready for prosecution and handed over to the Office of District Attorney Buron Fitz, who characterized it as magnificently prepared. And in December 1933, Vittori is brought to trial in Department 26 of Superior Court before Judge Aguilar. The prosecution bases its argument that Vittori murdered Jose Diego for $3,000 worth of insurance upon 3 circumstantial facts. The first,
Vittori's car was seen by a witness where the murder occurred.
the second,
Vittori consistently misspelled the word Yale in the manner in which it was spelled on the identification card found on the body.
the third,
Vittori forged applications for $3,000 worth of insurance upon the life of Louis Blanco and named himself his beneficiary.
the jury finds,
The defendant guilty of murder in the first degree.
and Judge Aguilar sentences Vittori,
To hang by the neck until dead.
which sentence was carried out at San Quentin at dawn on December 6, 1935. More boys and girls listen to Calling All Cars than to any other program heard over this station. And the Rio Grande Oil Company is glad to cooperate with local police authorities in crime prevention by impressing the youthful mind that crime does not pay. To further enlist boys and girls on the side of law and order, Rio Grande offers a complete junior detective outfit absolutely free of charge to its young listeners. A police badge, handcuffs, pistol belt and holster, fingerprint outfit, and many other free gifts. Ask any independent dealer selling Rio Grande cracked gasoline for a free copy of the Calling All Cars News, which contains the story and pictures of the crime you have heard tonight and tells how you may get your complete junior police outfit without charge. Rio Grande is proud to take the leadership in this junior police crime prevention movement. Remember, Rio Grande cracked gasoline today powers more police cars, fire engines, and emergency equipment than any other brand.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all Los Angeles County Sheriff's cars. A cancellation of broadcast 113 regarding a murder in Mint Canyon. Suspect in this case now in custody. That's all. Rolls and clips.
This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, saying good night for the... Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 114. Be on the lookout for Bull Kelly, described as an American, 5 feet 11 inches, 190 pounds. This man is wanted for questioning in connection with a murder. That's all. Rolls and clips.
police everywhere have started a war on reckless driving, as relentless as their war on crime. Yet police use the fastest gasoline obtainable in their own emergency cars, Rio Grande cracked gasoline. The fastest, most powerful gasoline they can buy. And contradictory as it may sound, we urge you to use cracked gasoline too, because it helps prevent accidents. Sometimes when your car gets into danger, when you see a crash impending, you instinctively tramp on the throttle. If your car has cracked gasoline, the kind police and emergency cars use, it responds to this desperate demand and races forward out of danger. But if you use low-gauge, sluggish, uncracked gasoline, you are more likely to stall your engine with a surge of slow-burning fuel. Police traffic experts warn that you need a fine gasoline to keep your car responsive, under control, and to snap you out of dangerous emergencies. You can have such a gasoline if you use the same brand police use, Rio Grande cracked gasoline. And now it is our pleasure to introduce Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. Murders will happen. Although your law enforcement agencies and the Police Department of Los Angeles are continually striving by their alertness in apprehending murderers, by persistently proving that homicide does not pay, and in the Los Angeles Police Department in particular, making those who might conceive and commit murder conscious of the fact that in back of every police 38 stands a man in uniform whose deadly aim and accuracy is a dangerous thing for a murder to come up against. Nevertheless, we continue to have an occasional outburst of murder. I am proud to report to the citizens of the Southwest that during the past 2.5 years, our murder rate in Los Angeles has been considerably reduced. More than that, but few crimes of this nature have remained unsolved. None of them is a closed book. Every police officer is on 24-hour duty, tracing and checking in an attempt to solve those few homicides which are still on the police blotter as unsolved. Tonight's story is one of passion. It is a story of a murder that no one person and no army of persons could have stopped or made impossible. It is the type of homicide that is easiest to solve, yet the kind of human tragedy which strikes as suddenly as lightning. Tonight's story has to do with human conduct. It preaches a sermon manifesting the necessity of all citizens to live the clean and good life and not to get mixed up with those who may, through their insane jealousy and passion, lead them into tragedy.
Our story opens at a critical time in the career of Bull Kelly, boxer. The Bull, although never champ, had enjoyed an enviable reputation as a fast and smart fighter. But as he grew older, he left his career in the squared ring for a career of round rings, wedding rings. 4 times he had been in and out of matrimony. And so it is not surprising that about 10 years ago, being once more a free man, he becomes interested in, and in turn interests, one Mrs. Roberta Thompson, wife of a wealthy Los Angeles restaurateur. Mrs. Thompson, infatuated, swept off her feet, sues her husband for divorce. As the day approaches for her final decree, Bull Kelly takes an apartment for her on a quiet side street under the name of Mrs. Stephen Howard. He is showing it to her for the first time.
Well, kitten, here you are, your little love nest. How do you like it?
Oh, Bull, it's darling.
Suit you okay, Mrs. Kelly?
That's the part I don't like. Hiding from people about it. Using a false name.
Well, pretty soon it'll be Mrs. Dan Kelly. Or would you rather be known as Mrs. Bull Kelly?
I don't care so long as everybody knows that I belong to you.
That's the way I like to hear you talk, kitten.
Oh, what a swell picture of you.
Yeah, I put that there for you. See, I wrote on it.
To my fuzzy little kitten, with all my love, Bull. Oh, it's darling, Bull. You look fierce crouching like that with those wicked gloves on.
I had more hair then.
Oh, I like your hair better now. Where it's thin in the front there, it gives you a distinguished look.
Well, it's no use crying for the past. Nothing will bring that back.
I don't want anything to bring back the past and all those women you loved once.
Oh, I never loved anyone like I love you.
If I could only be sure.
On my honor.
You told the others the same thing.
I had never known you then.
Oh, Bull, please. Please never love anyone else.
I won't. You're the medicine I need for what ails me. You won't fall for anyone, will you?
How could I? Not when I have you. You with your strong, straight body. I'll never take my eyes off this picture when you're away from me. I'll just sit and look at it and think about you and your muscles of steel. Oh, my darling. Oh, darling.
How about that husband of yours? Sure you won't change your mind and go back to him?
Of course not.
Yeah. He's got dough, and I haven't a thing.
I don't care. I want you. I never wanted him. Oh, I've told you so many times. I married him because I felt sorry for him. I was his stenographer, and he seemed so helpless, as though he needed someone, and he leaned on me so. But it just couldn't work. May and December never do. And then you came along, and that was the biggest day of my life. You did things to me, Bull. The first time I set my eyes on you, I went all weak inside, and I've been that way ever since. I love you, Bull.
And I love you, kitten.
But Mrs. Thompson's friends were not so sure she was doing the right thing in falling in love with Kelly. Mrs. Anna Benson, her closest friend, who had come to California to be near her and who ran a dress shop 2 doors from Mrs. Thompson's restaurant on 2nd Street, was quite outspoken in her attitude.
Now, look here, Roberta. We've known each other for a long time, haven't we?
Yes.
And I've always been a friend, haven't I? Maybe even your best friend,
Oh, you know you're my best friend, Anna.
All right. And that's the reason I hate to see you making a fool of yourself.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. Bull Kelly.
I don't see how he concerns you.
He doesn't, excepting as how he may harm you.
Harm me?
Yes, drag you down, cheapen you, make you something low.
Stop. I won't stand you talking about him like that. I've heard enough.
Very well.
Anna, you are my friend, and I love you dearly. I don't want to fight with you, but I will if you say another word about him. He's my man, and I love him more than anything in the world.
All right, Roberta, if you can't stop my opinions, and I think you're being a plain, ungarnished fool.
Anna, wait! Oh.
Hello, kitten. Hey, what are you doing hiding way off in this dark corner? Here, what's this?
Oh, nothing.
What's the matter, kitten? That husband of yours been acting up again? If he has, I'll...
Oh, no, it isn't that. He hasn't been here all day.
Well, then what's the matter?
Oh, it's Anna. She was just here.
What of it? What did she do to upset you like this?
She was trying to talk about you.
Oh, she was she?
Yes. She was trying to persuade me.
Why doesn't she mind her own business?
That's what I told her. I wouldn't listen to the things she was trying to say.
Well, I'll tell her, and she'll stay told. I'll tie that long tongue of hers into knots. I'll show her a thing or two.
Bull, please, don't do anything about it. Just forget it. There's trouble enough already.
But Bull doesn't forget it. That evening, he is picketing the entrance of Anna Benson's house when she comes home from work.
Just a minute, Mrs. Benson.
Yes?
Do you know me?
Why, it's so dark here, I can't... Why, yes, you're Bull Kelly, aren't you?
Right. How well do you know me?
Well, we've met, that's about all.
Right. You don't know me at all, then, really, do you?
Why, no. No, I guess I don't.
All right, then. Why don't you keep that big mouth of yours closed and that big nose of yours out of other people's business?
Why, I don't...
You heard me. I don't want you shooting off your face to Roberta anymore and upsetting her. You might as well get this straight. Roberta and I are getting married just as soon as her divorce is final. And nothing you or old man Thompson or your husband or anybody else can do about it can stop us. And if you try, it's just going to be too bad for you and everybody else concerned. Good night, Mrs. Benson.
But Mrs. Benson does not give up hope of dissuading Roberta Thompson. A few days after the Thompsons are divorced, Mr. and Mrs. Benson are with them in the restaurant.
I still think you're being a fool, Roberta.
Please, let's change the subject. We've talked about nothing else for an hour.
Don't you think she's being foolish, Tom?
Well, frankly, yes. Look here, Roberta. What you do with your life now is your own business. I think I've made a liberal settlement.
Of course you have, Thomas. I shall always regard you as a friend. You know that.
Yes, of course. Well, as I said before, I hate to see you throw away your money on a good-for-nothing like this Kelly fellow.
But he isn't a good-for-nothing. I'm not going to throw my money away on him. We have plans, all sorts of plans.
Look here, Roberta. Do you know the reputation of this man?
Well, yes, of course I do, Mr. Benson.
4 wives already. Heaven knows
And
how
how
many...
do you know, after he's run through your money, that you won't go the way of the other 4?
But
I tell you, Roberta, you're playing with dynamite. I've been around, and I know.
Oh, I don't know what to do.
Be smart. Tell him it's all off. Tell him you're sorry, but you've made a big mistake.
But Oh, Mr. Benson, do you really think that's the wise thing to do?
Of course I do.
Certainly it is. Roberta, I no longer have any interest in you, save as a friend. I'm advising you as a friend. We're all advising you as friends.
Well, if you think that's the best thing to do, I'll tell him. I'll tell him tonight.
And so that night, Roberta Thompson awaits Bull Kelly in her apartment. Evening comes and goes, and midnight approaches, and still he has not arrived. Finally, a few minutes after 12 o'clock...
Hello, Kitten. Been waiting long?
A little while.
You got a kiss for us?
Oh, you've been drinking, Bull.
Yeah, I had a few. Brought a pint home. Here, you want a swig?
No, thanks.
Okay. Say, what's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Sure there is. You're like an iceberg. Come on, thaw out. Daddy's home.
Sit down, Bull. I've got to talk to you.
Yeah? What's up?
Well, it's sort of hard to say. I don't know where to begin. You see...
Say, what is this?
You and I are through, Bull. That's all.
What? What did you say?
We're through. It's all over.
Oh, but Kitten, darling, you can't do this. You can't walk out on me like this. You can't. I won't let you.
Don't think it's been easy for me to say, Bull. It isn't. But I've thought it all over, back and forth and up and down. And that's the only answer I can get.
Yeah, but why? What's the matter? What have I done?
Nothing. Oh, there's no use talking about it anymore. I'm afraid to go on.
What's the matter? Don't you love me anymore?
Yes, that's it. I don't love you anymore. I don't love you as much as I thought I did.
Oh, but Kitten, you don't mean that. You can't.
Yes, there it is. And now that you've heard it, I might as well go. I waited all evening to tell you, and I've said it, so I'll go now.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
Back to your husband.
Don't be ridiculous.
Your husband? That's it. Why didn't I think about that? You've been talking to him and that Benson couple. Yeah, they've been putting ideas into your head, ain't they?
No, Bull, I swear it.
You're lying.
I figured this out for myself.
You're lying in your teeth, and you know it.
No, I'm not, Bull. On the level, I'm not. I'm going now.
Oh, no, you're not. You're staying right here.
Let me out, Bull. There's no use talking anymore. We're through, and I want to go now.
There's no sense in being in a hurry, Kitten.
What are you going to do with that gun?
Well, I don't know yet.
Put it away, Bull. Put it down. It makes me nervous.
Why? If your conscience was clear, a little toy like this wouldn't bother you.
Stop. Stop, Bull. Don't wave it at me like that.
All right, come clean. Those pals and that ex-husband of yours put you up to this, didn't they?
No, I swear it. No.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you the truth.
They put you up to this, and you know it. Now, are you going through with it, or are you going to stick with me and marry me like we planned?
I wouldn't marry you now for anything. You can't frighten me. You can't scare me. I hate you now.
Oh, you're walking out. Is that the straight of it?
Yes. Bull, don't. Don't! Oh.
Kitten. It's their fault. Your husband, the Bensons, busting up our lives, driving me crazy. It'll be all right, Kitten. I'll make them pay for all of this. They'll pay. Oh, good. Kitten, here's something for you to hold in your arms, Kitten. It's Bull's picture. Those strong muscles of steel, you said. To my fuzzy little kitten, with all my love. Sleep tight, little kitten. Sleep tight.
Early next morning, Kelly is waiting in front of Thompson's restaurant when Miss Berwin, the cashier, arrives to open it up for the day.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Kelly. What are you doing around so early?
I'm waiting for Thompson.
Well, won't you come inside and wait?
Yeah, guess I will. Shut that door.
Why? It's so stuffy in here, I always leave it open.
Shut that door.
Oh, very well, Mr. Kelly.
Got a match?
Why, yes, I think so. Yes, here you are.
Thanks.
Why, Mr. Kelly, what's the matter? Are you ill?
Huh?
Your hand is shaking so.
No, I'm okay.
Well, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Spaulding.
Mrs. Thompson down yet?
Why, no.
She won't be down today.
Well, that's strange. I had an engagement with her.
You heard me. She won't be down.
Well, in that case, I'll be on my way.
Oh, no, you won't. Go over and sit down on that stool.
Well, look here, I certainly...
Move over there.
Oh, look out, he's got a gun.
Yes, and I'll use it if you pull any funny business. On the stool, mister, and take off your shoes and trousers. I'm taking no chances on you walking out. Now, Miss Berwin, phone Thompson and tell him to get down here right away. Use some excuse, any excuse, but don't tell him I'm here.
But, Mr. Kelly...
Get going.
Meanwhile, at the apartment house, the Negro porter, cleaning up the rooms, makes a discovery.
And after you get finished in Mrs. Howard's apartment, David, you can burn that rubbish in the back.
Yes, ma'am, I sure will. Mrs. Howard, ma'am, is you there? Well, I guess she ain't. Oh, what's this? Mrs. Howard. Mrs. Howard. Oh, Lordy. She's dead. Oh, Miss Jones. Miss Jones, call the police. Quick, call.
Wilshire Detectives. Stoll speaking. Yes? Yes, 7th and Hoover. Yes, ma'am, we'll be right out. Hey, Bain.
Yeah?
Dead body over at 7th and Hoover. Yeah, we better go over and see what it's all about.
You that called us? Yes.
You found the body?
No, I didn't. David the porter found her. Just the second apartment down the hall here.
Is that David standing over there?
Yes, that's him.
Come here, David.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You found the body?
Yes, I sure did. I went in there, and there she was, lying on the floor.
I see. You didn't touch the body or move anything in there, did you?
No, not me. I scrambled out of there just as fast as I could.
Here's the apartment, officer. And there she is.
Shot through the neck. Apparently bled to death.
Nice fight.
Yeah. Hey, you better call headquarters. Bain, have them send the fingerprint man over and the photographer, too. Say, hey, wait a minute.
What?
Look here on her body, a picture. Some pug says here to my fuzzy little kitten with all my love, Bull.
Why, that's Bull Kelly. Used to be a boxer. You remember him?
Bull Kelly. Sure I do. And what was it I heard the other day about him going for some dame? Some dame that just divorced her husband?
Oh, yeah. The wife of that guy Thompson who has a restaurant over on 2nd Street. Who is this woman, ma'am?
Why, she's registered as Mrs. Howard.
Mrs. Howard, huh? I'll bet a dime she's Mrs. Thompson. Babe.
Yeah?
When you call headquarters, tell them to put out a call to all cars to look for Bull Kelly. I think he'll be able to help us quite a lot in this case.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 114. Be on the lookout for Bull Kelly, described as an American. 5 feet 11 inches. 190 pounds. This man is wanted for questioning in connection with a murder. Calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 114. Be on the lookout for Bull Kelly, described as American. 5 feet 11 inches. 190 pounds.
Meanwhile, as he awaits the arrival of Mr. Thompson at the restaurant, Kelly has held up everyone who comes in and forced the men to take off their pants and shoes.
Now, look here. You've got my money, but
Shut
I
up.
won't...
Take off those trousers.
I won't.
Oh, Mr. Kelly, that vase was worth $5.
Well, the next time I won't throw vases, it'll be a bullet. Now take off them pants.
$5 vases he throws.
Miss Berwin, phone up Benson and his wife and tell them to come up here. Tell them Thompson wants to see him. I might as well get all the victims together.
But Mr.
Do as you're
Kelly...
told.
Look here, can't you let my wife and me out of here? I don't know what this is all about. We just dropped in for a bite to eat. We don't want any bad publicity.
Well, you don't look like a bad guy to me. Decent. Not like most of the people around here. I can't let you out until I finish up, but I tell you what I will let you do. You move over on the other side of the room beside your wife. It'll be safer.
And
I may
Mr.
start
Benson
shooting over
talking-
here any minute.
Yes, Mr. Thompson would like to see you. Why, no, he can't come to the phone right now. He's busy. Yes, he's busy with a customer. Thank you.
They coming?
Yes, they said they'd be here right away.
Good. Ah, another customer. You got a gun, mister?
Say, what is this?
Call it what you like. You got a gun?
Why, no.
Got any money?
Why, yes, little.
Give it here.
I will not. Look here, what's the big idea?
Well, that's just a sample. Now, give me your money and take off your trousers.
Well, now, look here, my man.
Want some more? Take them off. Let's have the dough. There. That's more like it. Let's see. Not bad. More than $120 and a nice diamond. Say, buddy, was it you said you didn't have any dough?
Yeah.
Well, here's $1 for you.
Thanks.
Ah, here they come, my friends the Bensons. What's the matter with them? They looked in and they turned around and beat it.
Yeah, I'd be the tool if I'd have seen that cannon in your hand.
Oh, well, I'll tend to them after I fix Thompson.
Look here, can't I put my trousers on my lap?
No.
There's a lady over there.
Can't help it. You birds are going to stay right here. How soon will Thompson be here, Miss Berman?
Why, he ought to be here any minute.
Good.
I'm going to make a break for it.
Oh, don't he'll massacre all of us.
I think I can beat a bullet to that door.
Oh, no, you don't. Well, I'll go out and get the other two anyway. Your name, Benson?
Why, yes. What do you want?
Where's Mrs. Benson? Oh, there you are. Well, this is for trying to interfere in my private affairs.
Officer, a man just shot 3 people down the street.
Where?
There he goes now, running up Alvarado.
Hey, you in the car. Follow that guy up Alvarado.
Right, up on.
I got him. Pull up here. Yeah, drop that gun, you, or I'll drill you.
Okay. I guess you got me.
Kelly claimed that Mrs. Thompson killed herself, but police investigators proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Kelly killed her. Fortunately, the person struck down by Kelly's bullets were not seriously wounded. He was sent to San Quentin for a maximum sentence of 20 years on charges of manslaughter and assault with a deadly weapon.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever you hear the scream of the siren, whenever you see a police car, fire engine, or motorcycle roar by, let it remind you that Rio Grande cracked gasoline powers more of these emergency cars than does any other brand. Keen buyers for city and other governmental units carefully analyzed and tested all gasolines on the market. And during the year 1935, they purchased 4,500,000 gallons of Rio Grande cracked gasoline because, in their expert opinion, it gave greater speed, power, and more economical performance. You can have the same performance in your own car at no extra cost if you will drive into the independent Rio Grande service station near you and treat your car to Rio Grande cracked gasoline. Also, ask for a free copy of the Calling All Cars News and read how you may get a complete junior detective outfit free of charge for the boys and girls in your family.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars. A cancellation of broadcast 114. Bull Kelly is now in custody. That's all. Rosenquist.
Would you like to see the radio cast of Calling All Cars at your local theater in person? Star players on this broadcast are now touring the theaters, dramatizing the most thrilling show ever broadcast, The Human Bomb. Ask your local theater manager when the cast of Calling All Cars will make a personal appearance on his stage. This is Frederick Lindsley bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company. Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 116. Be on the lookout for Eddie Griffith, described as American, age 23, height 5 feet 10 and 1/2 inches, weight 148 pounds, has chestnut hair, brown eyes. This man is wanted for robbery. Step on it, boy. Rosenquist.
When police announcer Rosenquist radios to a patrol car, "Step on it, boys," the car, which has been cruising so slowly, leaps suddenly into action. Rio Grande cracked gasoline is sprayed into each cylinder, and because it is so finely cracked, it burns instantly, creating acceleration and power that sends the police car roaring to the rescue. Los Angeles police say no other gasoline gives such acceleration and power as Rio Grande cracked. That's why all Los Angeles City fire engines, radio cars, ambulances, motorcycles have used nothing but Rio Grande cracked gasoline for 3 successive years. The patented, exclusive cracking process gives Rio Grande decided advantages over all other gasolines. Police in other cities have also found that Rio Grande cracked tests faster, more powerful than others. So in Oakland, Berkeley, and in Maricopa County, Arizona, In all the West, Rio Grande cracked gasoline powers more police and emergency cars than any other brand. And now we present Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. I wish to thank the sponsors of this program for their foresight and civic-mindedness in preparing and presenting the program arranged for your entertainment tonight. It serves a dual purpose. It assists the Los Angeles Police Department in presenting to our many thousands of listeners a vivid picture of what the migratory criminal problem really means to police agencies. At the same time, it should serve to make American citizens anxious to preserve their peace and security, more conscious of their duty toward the police in cooperating with them and supporting them in their unceasing effort to protect the lives and property of our people. The killer, whose career of crime will be unfolded for you here this evening, was a typical migratory criminal who entered the state in the parlance of the hobo by riding the rods and hitchhiking. He carried with him a gun which he had used in Seattle to murder a policeman. Although he was but 23 years of age, he came into California without money, without any visible means of support, and obviously with no intention of working or giving to this state any service whatsoever in return for what it might give him. But on the contrary, as our police records show, he sought to forage in green pastures even if he had to rob and kill to do so. He was a typical vicious criminal who called himself young Dillinger and committed burglaries and robberies over the length and breadth of Oregon and California. Tonight's story is a true story of one migratory indigent whose criminal career under a proper fingerprint and border patrol program might have been nipped in the bud.
Seattle, Washington. Late on an April evening in 1934, a Seattle police sergeant enters his house.
Who's there? Stick him up. Oh, a baby-faced killer. All right, save the cracks and stick up your hands.
Listen, kid, you're making the mistake.
Oh,
of your
shut
life.
up. I know what I'm doing.
I know, but...
My old man put me into this racket when I was 12 years old. I don't need none of your advice.
Now, listen, boy. Take the word of an old police sergeant.
Oh, a police sergeant?
Yes.
Well, in that case... Oh. You'll never identify me.
Los Angeles, California, June 16, 1934. In a coffee shop on West 7th Street, late at night.
Hello, buddy. Pretty chilly out tonight, ain't it?
Yeah.
What'll it be? Cup of hot java?
I ain't got time. Stick him up.
What?
Up, I said. Now get back there in the corner. I want to inspect your cash register. Not doing much business, are you? You got anything in your pocket?
No, I haven't.
You're lucky I don't bump you off.
I'll fix him, the little rat.
Halt you! Halt or I'll fire! I warn you!
2W1516.
2W1516.
Robbery detail, Lieutenant Devine speaking.
There's been a robbery out here.
Yeah? What address?
7th and Whitmer Streets.
We'll be right out. Come on, Tom.
What's up?
Robbery at 7th and Whitmer.
When he walked out, I pulled my gun out of the drawer here and ran out after him. He wouldn't stop, so I fired. He fired back. He was running across the street all the time, and when he got to a car that was parked there, he jumped in and drove off.
Did you get the license number of the car?
I sure did. It was 2W1516.
What do you look like?
Well, he was a young fellow, about 23, I'd say. Had sort of chestnut-colored hair. About the size of you, Lieutenant.
Provided with a fairly accurate description of the robber, Detective Lieutenants Devine and O'Connor checked the license number of the getaway car with the Motor Vehicle Bureau. Early next morning, they pull up in front of a little house on a quiet street in the Southwest District.
There's the car in the driveway.
Yep, that's it. License 2W1516.
Let's take a look at it.
Radiator's still warm.
Let's go.
Yes?
Does Mr. Stearns live here?
Yes.
Is that his car in the driveway?
My, yes.
We want to talk to him.
Well, I'm afraid you can't. You see, who are you anyway?
We're from police headquarters.
I thought so. I knew he'd get into trouble.
Where is Mr. Stearns now?
He's asleep.
You'll have to wake him up.
Oh, I don't dare to.
Why not?
He'd break my neck. He's sleeping it off.
Just got in then, huh?
Well, yes, just a little while ago.
See.
Been on one of his tears. Gone 2 days this time, and I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Well, if you're afraid to wake him up, we'll have to.
Very well, but you better be careful. He's awful mean-tempered.
Don't worry, ma'am. I think we can handle him.
All right, then. He's in that bedroom in there.
I can hear he is. Come on, you. Wake up.
You gotta shake him harder than that.
Okay, come on. Wake up.
Press those nerves behind his ears, Tom. That'll bring him out in a hurry.
Okay. All right, now, wake up, I said.
What do you want?
Get up and get your clothes on.
Go on away. I'm sleepy.
Get up. You're under arrest.
Under arrest? Hey, can't a guy go on a drunk without getting arrested?
Not when he holds up restaurants.
What?
I suppose you didn't hold up that coffee shop on 7th Street last night.
I sure didn't.
Where were you last night?
Down at Sales Joint. Cockeye.
It doesn't look much like the description of that, Jerry.
I know, but we'll get him mad enough to spill. Down at Tell's joint, huh?
Sure, I can prove it.
By some of them hussies you were down there with, I suppose.
Oh, shut your face, old woman.
You're in a tough spot, Stearns. Your coupe was used as a getaway car last night in a holdup.
Coupe in a coupe. See, that dirty bum.
Who?
That Ben Kennedy.
Who's he?
Well, he borrowed the car last night and said he had a date. So he went on a holdup, huh?
Yeah, but he had some pals with him. Sure you weren't along?
Not me, I swear it. I didn't put a foot out of that place last night.
Because you couldn't walk.
Oh, shut up.
Get on your pants, Stearns. We're taking you in until we can check your story.
Stearns is taken to headquarters and with the two detectives searches the mug book for the man he claims had borrowed his car. Finally, he points to the picture of Ben Kennedy. And within 3 hours, the detectives have Kennedy in custody on a warrant charging robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. Suffering from a bad hangover and frightened, he talks willingly.
I didn't have nothing to do with it, I tell you.
You borrowed Stearns' car last night, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't pull no hold-up.
That car was used for a getaway in the holdup on 7th Street. You borrowed the car. Now, we're smart enough to put two and two together.
I didn't pull no hold-up.
There were 3 men in that car. Who were the other 2?
A couple of friends of mine, but I don't know nothing.
What were their names?
One was Frank, the other was Eddie.
Frank and Eddie what?
I don't know their last name.
So you and Frank and Eddie went for a ride in Stearns' car last night?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Just rode around.
Rode up to 7th and Whitmer, didn't you?
We might have.
Think carefully. You not only might have, you did. Isn't that the truth?
Well, yeah. We stopped up on 7th Street for a few minutes.
What happened up there?
Eddie got out and went across the street and went into the eating joint. A couple of minutes later, I heard something that sounded like shooting, and Eddie come running across the street and jumped into the car. He told me to drive like the devil, so I did.
You say you heard something that sounded like shots. Isn't it a fact that you did hear shots?
It's like I just told you. I asked Eddie what the noise was, and he said it was some kids shooting firecrackers.
What's Eddie's last name?
I don't know.
Would you recognize his picture if you saw it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Hand me that book of robbery mugs, Jerry.
Okay.
Thanks. All right, Ben. Start looking. See any pictures on this page that look like him?
No.
How about these boys?
He ain't on this page.
Well, look these over.
No.
For hours, the two detectives forced the suspect to scrutinize carefully the pictures of criminals in the huge robbery squad's mug book. But Ben does not recognize any of them as his friend of the night before. Finally.
Well, here's the last page. Is Eddie's picture here, Ben?
No.
Looks like he hasn't got a record.
How about it, Ben? Eddie ever been in trouble before?
Well, I don't know.
Think carefully now.
It seems like he said something about a beef up in Frisco.
Up in Frisco? Well, that's something else. Get down that San Francisco mug book, will you, Tom?
Sure. Here we are.
Gee, do I have to look through this one, too? I'm getting hungry.
Go get something to eat after you find Eddie's picture.
Yeah, but gee, I want
Look
something.
these boys over.
No, he ain't there.
How about here?
No.
Well, there's plenty of pages and lots of time. See him on this page?
Yeah, that's him, I think.
This one here? Jack Thomas, alias Jack Newton, alias Eddie Griffith. Is that the guy, Eddie Griffith?
Well, if it ain't him, it looks enough like him to be his kid brother.
Probably him, then. This picture was taken 3 years ago.
San Francisco, number 440512. Well, would you look at this mug's record, Tom? Picked up in Seattle when he was only 11 years old for staying out late. Sent to Preston from San Francisco for a stick-up when he was 16.
He's a tough guy, all right.
He won't be when we get through with him. We don't stand for young bums running around with gats in this town.
Fearing for the consequences of his friendship with the young hoodlum with the long record, Ben leads the officers to an apartment on South Berendo Street, where he had stayed with Frank and Eddie. But when they arrive, the apartment is unoccupied. The detectives summon the landlord.
Yes, gentlemen. What was it you wanted?
We're looking for the boys who have this apartment. You know anything about them?
No, I don't. I never pry into my tenants' affairs so long as they pay their rent.
When were they here last?
Well, they weren't here last night, I'm sure.
They left yesterday afternoon with a couple of miles. I seen them drive away in a tan Chrysler.
Yeah, probably stolen.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah?
Look what I found in this desk drawer.
What?
Scrap of paper. It says straight down Clinton to Larchmont, turn to the left, Larchmont Theater. And here on the back is a map of a theater lobby showing the position of the box office. Does that mean anything to you?
Sure. Larchmont Theater was robbed in daylight last week.
And our friend Eddie Griffiths probably did the job. You know anything about that one, Ben?
No.
We'll check Eddie's mug with the manager of the theater.
Say, do your tenants leave their cars back there in that yard?
A lot of them do. Why?
I just wondered. I got a hunch, Tom. Let's look over those cars that are out there.
Okay.
There's a rear entrance right at the end of the hall.
Come on. We'll just see if the license plates check with the numbers on the registration slips. You got it, Tom?
Yeah, not a bad idea. I'll take a look at this old Buick. 7D4128. Yeah, the white slip tallies. 7D4128.
Whose car is this under the tarp?
Why, that's mine. I keep the tarpaulin over to protect the paint job.
Give me a hand with this, will you, Tom?
Sure.
I show you, gentlemen. There's nothing. It's just a whippet sedan.
Throw it back this way.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought so. Use this car much?
Not very often. I guess I haven't had it out for a week.
It's registered for 1934, isn't it?
Why, yes, of course.
You remember your license number?
Certainly. It's 7V3986.
Why aren't the license plates on the car?
What? Why, they're gone.
They certainly are. And I've got a hunch when we pick up a tan Chrysler Coupe with license number 7V3986 on it, we'll have Eddie Griffith. Better get Ben back to headquarters, Tom. I'm going over to the Larchmont Theater to check that job against Eddie's picture.
The manager of the Larchmont Theater and the manager of the restaurant on 7th Street both identify Eddie Griffith's picture as that of the man who held them up. Certain now of a case against the fugitive, the officers broadcast a bulletin containing his picture and description to every police station in the United States. And across the state of California goes the clattering of the police teletype, ticking out doom for Eddie Griffiths.
To all points, attention. Broadcast 14. Be on the lookout for Chrysler Coupe, license number 7V3986. Arrest occupants, hold and notify James E. Davis, Chief of Police, Los Angeles.
Working busily on a dozen different angles of the case, the detectives uncovered information which results in another message a day later.
To Chief Bodie Wallman, Oakland, California. Calling attention to our All Points broadcast number 14. Information just obtained indicates that occupants of Chrysler Coupe referred to may have gone to your city. We are looking for one Eddie Griffiths, American, age 23, 5 foot 10 and a half inches, 148 pounds, chestnut hair, brown eyes, last seen wearing blue overcoat. He is accompanied by Stella Bonelli, Cora Rossi, and another man known to us only as Frank. We hold warrant for robbery and assault with a deadly weapon against Griffiths. Appreciate intensive checkup to ascertain if these suspects are now in Oakland. James E. Davis, Chief of Police, Los Angeles.
And 10 days later, while Eddie Griffiths races south toward Los Angeles, the electric courier of the law flashes invisibly past him, heralding his coming long before he has reached the far-flung city limits.
Regarding your All Points broadcast number 14 and teletype number 24, Eddie Griffiths, Frank Barber, Stella Bonelli, and Cora Rossi held up chain store here this afternoon. Barber was shot by proprietor, but the other was...
3 escaped in tan Chrysler Coupe toward Los Angeles. We're holding Barber for attempted robbery and ADW. B.A. Wallman, Chief of Police, Oakland, California. Boy, that's great.
We'd better stake out Sal's joint. Eddie will probably lay low. One of these dames is sure to show. He'll be sending her out to get the lowdown.
Right. For all of one sleepless night and half of the next day, Detectives Connor and Devine stake out Sal's joint. And then, toward evening...
There comes Stella down the street.
Sure it's her?
Sure. Couldn't miss. Ben said she was just a half pint.
Tough-looking dish, isn't she?
Yeah. Oh, beg your pardon, sister.
On your way, Mother. I'll call a cop.
That won't be necessary.
You'll just step into the squad car, Miss Bonelli. We'll take you for a little ride.
Oh, what's the big idea?
We just want to question you a little, that's all.
Say, look here, Flint.
I wouldn't want to have to get rough with such a little girl. Now get into that car.
Tough, half-pint Stella Bonelli finally weakens under the officer's deft psychology. Gives them the address where Eddie is staying, and at 1 a.m. the following morning, after a 6-hour stakeout, Cora walks into the trap set by the law. But Eddie is not with her, and she will not divulge his whereabouts. Cruising the neighborhood with the recalcitrant girl, they come upon the Chrysler Coupe with the stolen plates, abandoned. Next day, they report to their superior officer, Captain C.
But we did get some good prints of Eddie from the car.
Fine. Now, what about the girl?
They admitted their part in the Oakland robbery, but they deny knowing anything about the Larchmont Theater or the 7th Street job.
They're a couple of hard mouths, Cap.
I suggest that you let them loose and then put a tail on them. Sooner or later, they'll lead us to Eddie.
I wish I could be so sure.
Now, what do you mean?
Just this. I think they're too smart to fall for it.
Well, let's try it anyway.
Okay, Skipper.
Anyway, I've got another lead on Eddie.
What's that?
I've just received a tip that he's strike-breaking in San Pedro with Roy Serpa, Frank Barnamo, and Lur Capasa. You know, they're the guys that we want for that bank job last week. I've sent Chambers and Johnson down there to pick them up. We'll wait for their report.
Hello there, Chambers.
Hello, Bill. How do you like this harbor duty?
I don't. This 12-hour shift is killing me. You guys in the Detective Bureau got it soft.
Yeah, we don't work 12 hours. We work all hours.
With your feet on a desk in City Hall.
Go on, Bill. You know how easy you guys in uniform have it.
I'll trade. How are you doing down here?
Looking for a couple of strikebreakers that are pretty good at breaking banks.
Who are they? I know most of the boys.
Well, look at these pictures. And they're probably using phony names.
Sure, I know these guys. They're working just down the dock here.
All right, come along with us.
I think they're unloading this Copri ship. Yeah, there they are now. Coming down the gangplank. Come on. Uh-oh, they've seen us.
All right, boys. Stand right where you are. Hey, come back here, you two.
They're running up the gangplank.
Tackle that last one, Johnston. Come on.
Maybe these cuffs will keep you quiet.
What's a big idea? What do you guys want? Shut up. Take care of him, Bill. Johnston and I are going to search the ship for the other two.
But Eddie Griffiths once more had eluded the law. He and Bonomo successfully escaped through the ship's bilge, and although within a few days the robbery squad picks up Bonomo and Capasa, the other members of the bank robbing trio, and subsequently sends them to San Quentin, Eddie remains at large. A month passes. The constant shadow kept on the two girlfriends of Eddie is relentless but fruitless. Wise to the ways of the underworld, they realize they are being followed. Remain away from Eddie Griffiths. Finally, Connor and Devine bring them in once more for questioning.
What's a big idea? You guys had us in here once and we proved to you we was clean.
Yeah, and ever since we've had the privacy of a goldfish. I wouldn't be surprised if you birds watched at the windows when we went to bed. Peeping toms with badges, that's what you are.
Are you all through?
Not by several mouthfuls, I ain't.
Well, then shut up and I'll tell you what the big idea is. We want Eddie Griffiths.
Well, go get him.
You're going to help us.
Oh, no, we ain't.
Now, we have good reason to believe that you know where he is.
How come? You know what kind of toothpaste we use. You certainly ought to know if we've been hearing from him.
We're reasonably certain that you have been.
Well, we ain't talking, see?
Yeah, well, that's a relief. And listen to me. You girls are in a bad spot. There's a rap waiting for you in Oakland. Maybe before we're through, we'll hang a couple on you down here. If you acted like ladies, it might go easier.
You know, I hate to see a couple of kids like you going the wrong way. Why, here you are, just at the age when you ought to be having a good time. Wearing pretty clothes, thinking of marrying up with some nice guy and raising a family, and look at you. Dressed in dirty slacks, traveling around the country with a couple of stick-up artists. Why, if they was big shots, it wouldn't be so bad. But they're a couple of tin horns. You got a mother, Cora?
No, she's dead.
Oh, that's too bad. I wonder what she's thinking up there if she knows what a jam you're in.
Well, I don't know.
And how about you, Stella? Does your mother know what you're up to?
No.
Well, how would you like to have her know about it?
No. No.
How would you like to have her write you letters and care of the woman's prison at the Hatchapee?
No, I don't want to know. She thinks I got a good job down here in L.A.
Well, girl, what about it?
Well, listen, we want to do the right thing.
I'm sure you do.
Look, if we show you where Eddie is, will you let us go?
Well, we'll do everything we can for you.
Completely swayed by the shrewd psychology of the two officers, the girls lead them to Eddie's hideaway on Beaudry Street. But again, the officers arrive too late. Eddie has escaped. And that night, another holdup occurs in which Eddie is described by the victim. And then, 2 days later, Captain Seeger receives a letter from the Seattle Police Department. He sends for Connor and Devine.
Boys, I've got a letter here that'll interest you. It's from the Seattle Department. They say, the Eddie Griffiths referred to in your bulletin is known to us as an incorrigible juvenile. We last heard of him when he was sent to Preston from San Francisco. However, investigation of recent holdups and the murder of Police Sergeant Donovan in April point to this subject as a suspect. Several victims have identified Griffith's picture as man who held them up. And the single witness who saw a man leaving Sergeant Donovan's house after he was murdered feels reasonably sure that Griffiths is the man. Please inform us if you have placed him in custody, that we may begin extradition proceedings and bring him back here for questioning. Well, boys, what do you think of that?
Oh, looks like this case is bigger than we thought.
So the bum's wanted for murdering an officer, eh? No, we'll never stop until we get him.
I was getting a little tired of all this trouble for a stick-up artist, but this changes everything.
Oh, pardon me just a moment, please. Captain Seeger speaking. Yes? Yes? Okay, thanks. Well, boys, maybe this is your last day on the case.
Oh, what do you mean?
Things are happening fast. That was a tip that Griffiths is leaving town. He's to meet a pal of his at the corner of 7th and Alvarado at 1 o'clock.
And that's just an hour and 15 minutes from now.
Call the boys in.
Yeah. Into the captain's office, you guys.
Now, boys, we're going to pick up Eddie Griffiths at the corner of 7th and Alvarado at 1 o'clock.
Oh, that hold-up guy.
Well, he isn't only a hold-up guy. We just learned that he's wanted for the killing of a police officer in Seattle last spring. Now, listen. I want you all to get a good look at his mug here, see? So that you'll recognize him.
Wait a minute.
Now, listen. Here's the plan. Katzenberger, you and your partner will be parked in a car on 7th Street heading west, as close to the corner as you can get. Carter, you and Devine park on Alvarado heading north. Chambers on 7th heading east. Johnson, put on a pair of overalls and hang around the northwest corner by the park. Now, you two men, hide in one of the stores on the northeast corner of Alvarado. Use your own cars so that you won't cause any suspicion. As soon as you see him, close in on from all sides. I don't want any slip-ups on this. Bring him in dead or alive, but bring him in.
Within 15 minutes, the men are staked out, assigned positions at the corner of 7th and Alvarado, looking as little like police officers as possible. Traffic streams past the busy corner. Hundreds of people in the noon-hour luncheon crowds hurry by, oblivious of the tense group of police who eagerly scan each passing face, each fleeting automobile, ignorant of the fact that at any moment this intersection may become another battlefield in the war against crime. Finally, after an hour of nerve-wracking alertness, Devine stiffens with excitement.
There he is.
Where?
That gray Ford Roadster turning north into Alvarado. Give it the gun.
The light's against me.
Can't help that. Take a chance.
Stop that gun!
Pull him out of that car, Chambers. Take him down, Johnson.
Hey, what is it?
You're under arrest for robbery and murder.
Huh?
Slap the cuffs on him, Cat.
Get a 38 in his pants and a 45 in the left-hand pocket of the car.
Into the car, you. What's your name, buddy?
My name? Young Dillinger.
Yeah? Well, my name's young Melvin Purvis. Let's go, Connor.
Well, that's me. It certainly takes a lot of them detectives to arrest one young kid.
went with this cop killer. Eddie Griffiths was returned to Seattle, where he was tried and convicted, and is now confined in prison for life. In checking the records of vagrants, street and residence beggars, and panhandlers, we find that 60% have criminal records. The sheriffs of various California counties and the peace officers of other states have cooperated with us in our program to expose and stem the movements of floating criminals. Because of Eddie Griffiths and thousands of his ilk, the Los Angeles Police Department has deemed it necessary to set up hobo blockades in the belief that the solution of this problem will be found in attacking its source.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, although police of many western cities have specified Rio Grande cracked gasoline because of its greater speed and power, they have also discovered on checking their operating costs that cracked is also the most economical gasoline. Rio Grande's patented cracking process creates a faster, more powerful gasoline that burns efficiently without waste, so that every drop turns into power. That's the kind of performance you want in your car, police car performance, and you can get it at no extra cost. Just drive into the independent Rio Grande dealer in your neighborhood. He'll give you genuine cracked gasoline with tetraethyl at no higher price than uncracked, unbalanced gasolines. And if you've got youngsters in your family, ask about the free gifts, the complete junior detective outfit that we are now giving away to every user of Rio Grande cracked gasoline.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, cancellation broadcast 116 regarding Eddie Griffith, wanted for robbery. This case is now closed, and that's all. Rolls and vote.
This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night.